Hey guys, welcome to Late Night on Base. On today's episode, we have the Women of Base, the collective group on Base that has a simple goal to empower women into Web3 and create a safe space for them to learn and understand this industry that we all love. I hope you guys enjoy the episode. I think it's really informative, and I think these guys or girls are going to be really, really big. All right, welcome everyone to another edition of Late Night on Base. Today on the podcast, we're honored to have the Women on Base collective group on, Michelle, Lemaire, and Shelby. How are you three ladies doing today?
Great.
Good.
Fabulous. Thanks for having us.
Excited. I'm excited. I've been wanting to speak with you guys for a while. I think what you guys are actually doing is really, really important, and it's really good for the space, not just for Base, but the entire crypto ecosystem of Web3. So really want to dive deep into what you guys are going to be working on, what's your guys' mission, and honestly just get to know each of you guys on an individual level a little bit better. For those who've been watching the podcast or my stuff, Lemaire he's been on one of these with the Boomer team. Actually, that podcast episode has not released yet, so you're gonna want to check that out. But awesome to see you again, Lemaire. And Shelby, nice to meet you for the first time. And Michelle, I know we've been a part of some conversations in the Base TV Guy Collective with your work with Bitcoin on Base. So it's always really good to connect with you. So thank you, ladies.
Yeah, thank you.
So let's start. Let's start. So for the viewers, who may be watching this on Spotify or listening YouTube, they're coming across Women on Base for the first time ever. They have no idea what's going on, and they want to know more. Let's give a rundown. What exactly is Women on Base?
So, Women on Base is a collective. We are the first three of the women that have come together that our projects are on Base, obviously. This actually came out of Shill's head like 2-3 weeks ago, whatever it was. And we just all happen to be together. We're actually working on Onchain Summit stuff, which we will talk about a little bit later on. But Shill came out and was like, what if we put together like a place where all of these amazing women creators that are building on Base can come together, come out of the shadows and rep their different projects or just have a voice. And she called me up and she's like, what do you think? And I'm like, oh, hell yeah. Like, glad you asked. So the three of us really have started getting together. We all have projects that were obviously associated, but the most common red thread, I think, that goes through all of us at Women on Base is that we have a real passion for the space, for crypto, and specifically trying to disrupt some of the social stigmas that we have found in our experience on Web3 to really start carving out spaces for women in crypto. And it's really interesting because each one of our projects comes from, different aspects of Web3. We all have a focus with our particular projects, but all of it is in service to making the crypto space, even bigger than it's ever been through innovation and through inclusion, and really being able to give this new audience of women not just a space but a voice in that space, so that we create, you've heard me say this before, Belle, we create this brand new tide of influx of awareness through education and community that's going to really raise all of the boats in crypto. So, when you win with her, everybody wins. So that's really one of the things that we really want to make sure that people understand about this collective.
Amazing. Shelby, you have some thoughts on
No, I mean, I am just honored that they allowed me into their little group
because it was really
Allowed
kind of,
whatever. We were on the same group together talking about this, and you spoke. Remember, we were on.
yes,
Oh my God, was it Zach's? It was Zach Humphreys, right?
yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
it was Zach
Breakfast Club.
Humphreys.
Yep.
Yes, yes. And Shelby, you are just you're a vision. And listening to you talk, and I had already been familiar with Shelby. And listening to her on Zach Humphreys, so she was one of those I had my target, my bullseye on, and it was just incredible for her to immediately want to jump up and be like, oh my gosh, yes, and then come with
Yeah.
so many ideas, and I'm not going to steal her thunder. I'm going to let her talk about that.
No, no. I mean, yeah, sometimes I can have like too many ideas. And I like that the girls like are like, okay, like let's dial it back a little bit. I get really excited because this is such an exciting space.
Yeah.
And it's so
Yeah.
refreshing to have the girls to speak to every week because, my husband is a co-host on Zach Humphrey Space. So I am in there religiously. I do a lot of their background work, but I never had like my own voice. And I want women to have their spot. I really, my husband and I have our project. And yes, it's, just as much my project as his, but he gets the spotlight. He is, that guy. And I want women to be able to have their own wallet. I want them to have financial freedom. I want them to understand crypto as we move forward into the Web3 world. And if something were to happen to my husband or something, I know how to take over his wallets and crypto and everything. Like I want that for everyone. And to understand the terms. I mean, when I was like first on these spaces, I never hid myself behind like, a mask of like a man, or like I never pretended to be anyone other than what I am. And I got a lot of like shade for that sometimes because I didn't know the terminology. I put my picture as my PFP. I just put myself out there. And it took a couple of months and I had to grow a really thick skin really fast
Yes.
in order to
Mhm.
in this. So just being able to collab, to create a group and to create a safe space for everyone and the women is amazing.
Yeah, and I think having a safe space for women in Web3 is incredibly important because crypto as it is extremely challenging, male or female. It's just a challenging ecosystem, right? And
Mhm.
then you get into the trenches. It is very male dominated and very male oriented, and so for a woman, I know it could be daunting, in a way, to kind of come into the space, not knowing really what to go to, what to do, where to ask for help, and going into these rooms, especially if like let's face it, some of these crypto projects are, very degen and very like completely they're fun, don't get me wrong, but they're very, brash and a lot of the
Mhm.
vulgarness and terminology. It could be, very difficult for someone to venture in who's like already scared to, be a part of it. So I think if you make an inclusive environment for women, especially like like my wife, for instance, she knows crypto only because of me, but, like, if I were to have her venture in, she would literally venture in and venture right back out because the
Right.
type of people that
Mhm.
make up the majority of projects are not the type of people she wanna associate with or, have anything in common with. So, creating a safe space for women is the way we get more women in Web3, without a doubt, and that
Hands
starts
down.
with what you guys are doing, what Woman of Base is doing is creating that safe space, so kudos to you guys, honestly.
Well, and Shelby, you made a really valid point, and this is something the girls already know about me, and I know that's why Lemire's over here grinning ear to ear. Because what you just mentioned, Bill, is actually what I did do, and what Shelby's saying she didn't do. I, on the flip side, did actually come in undercover. I spent about 6 months last year really learning the ropes because I've been day trading for a very long time with stock for years and years. But I finally decided to plunge into crypto after I had done enough research, learned enough that I felt safe enough to at least go into the space behind a mask. And that's absolutely what I did, using different, random memes, whatever you want to use, just throw up there. Absolutely rocked it like I was a dude. Spoke the language because I can still speak the language today. Because, fun fact, I am still a little degen at heart. And I don't mind the degen fun because it is fun. I
Yeah,
have a whole other coin I'm involved in that I can actually go into that chat and I can be a degen because that's what they are. But they're not, they're very great, good wholesome people who are really out to build that community as well. But I can go in there and I can have that fun time, the vulgarness, the silliness, that's not Bitcoin on base, obviously, but I appreciate being able to have the best of both worlds. And the one thing that I will always stand by is that it is two worlds, and we're going to have two worlds. And the one thing we don't ever want to do is disconnect that fact. But what we can do is we can help others feel safe that they're educated to know the difference between what the Degen world is versus the non-Degen world, where we're out here trying to, become more stapled in the world and become e-commerce and really make headways for the future versus maybe just it being a meme and having some fun, but making a lot of money in the process. So, for me, it was when I came in, I absolutely was terrified to reveal I was a female. I did not do that for months. I shocked the crap out of all of the people I was working with. And this was before, Bitcoin on base. And funny story, and I haven't told these ladies, is that actually with that first coin, and I'm not going to name it because it ended up going downhill eventually, but I did my research. I did find the good coin and a good chart, and we went up to a 5 million market cap within a very short period. And I made some really great money. But guess what? I didn't do? Didn't take profits.
I was gonna say, yeah.
I watched 30 plus grand just vanish within a few days, and I was like, ugh. And that's what they were talking about, off of like $200.
We all know
I didn't
that,
hardly put anything in.
we all know that struggle.
We've all done that, right? But here's what I will say though. Even in that mask, the community, that group that I was in, I felt safe enough to come out to in that community. They were very open and in a sense, I guess you can say, talking about women. They weren't negative to women in that group. And I never felt subjected in that group. And I felt comfortable enough to come out and be like, oh, by the way, I'm a chick. And they all lost it and they loved it. They were like, what? You've been a girl this whole time?
No, just since yesterday. Just
right. So I think it was also like a wake up call for them and for many others now when I tell that story, to hear that, because I mean, nobody wants to have to hide behind anything to be themselves and to be able to maneuver around in a space unless you choose to. And hey, that's the great thing. That's the wonderful thing about Mimi Land. It is anonymous if it wants to be. You never have to be known. You can always stay completely behind the veil. But where I feel we have the biggest opportunity of all is to promote coming out from behind that veil and to promote putting our faces out there, because guess what? If we don't, we will never get to this 1 billion on-chain customers loaded.
Right.
It's not going to happen. I mean, I would have, even knowing what I knew, I would have never gone into this whole thing and just aped right in and been like, yeah, sure, I'll go take that text you're going to send me with that dollar coin or whatever it is, not understanding it, right? Hey, I'm going to send you a text message and I want you to go download this and do that, which is wonderful. And Base has created that. It is so simple and it's so amazing, but we have to have the foundation and the fundamentals to make sure folks understand what they're doing in the first place and how to navigate it after.
Yeah, I think one of the things that was really weird for me is that the only project I've ever been in has been a meme coin, right? So like it was the very first thing I ever got into, and man, what talk about, just eyes wide open, like real quick. And it's really interesting because I as a person like to do things that'll scare me, especially at this point in my life, right? So like I'm just gonna say it. I'm 52 and I'm a mom, and I've had a career, a very long and illustrious career, and so I'm in a very, very different place, and I'm a very, very different person, I think, than what you would ordinarily find, especially in the meme space. So when I first got into the project, I was like, oh my God, what did I just get myself into? But I use this as an opportunity to really push myself, because I have a daughter who is in college, and I think one of the biggest things for me in this project and getting into crypto at all was to prove to not only her, but really myself, that at 52, I still have way more that I still want to do, that I can still contribute to a project. I want to be able to take everything that I've learned how to do in my profession, in marketing, and be able to apply it in a way that I've never ever done before, and just scare the shit out of myself. And I think in that way, Pete from Boomer loves it when I say this, and it's true. Like, being able to do that in a space that ordinarily somebody like me, somebody who looks like me, sounds like me, just would be like, oh my God. Like what you said, Shelby, you go in, or Bill, you go in, you go, okay, bye. And I said, you know what? No, I'm gonna stay. And I've been now with Boomer since I think 3 weeks after they launched. And it's just been one of these things where I think as a woman, this space, Web3, these projects, whether it's memes or not, it's an opportunity for women to really be able to push themselves and redefine certain areas of themselves and surprise themselves, to be honest, right? Because who the hell knew that 3 months ago I'd be like, oh yeah, I'm gonna be on this Twitter space with these people,
or that 3 weeks ago we'd have the wild idea for women on base, and here we are. I mean, it's insane.
It's
Yeah.
insane, but I think it is a perfect example of what's possible.
Absolutely.
Possible for anybody, but especially possible for women, and especially women on base, because we are so early on this platform, right? And I love the idea of our collective, our Women on Base collective, being this opportunity to, from the start of a major platform like Base, put our signature as, listen, we are here too. We are building amazing things with amazing projects, and y'all are going to see our faces, and we're going to talk about it, and we're going to tell more and more people about it, and we're going to get our moms and our aunts and our daughters and our sisters and everybody else, because they should be part of all of the fun as well.
I'm going to go on record and saying today's July 17th, 2024. You guys are going to be absolutely massive. Like, I'm just telling you right now, this
We hope so, man. That's the dream.
It's not hope. It's going to happen. Like, as long as you guys stay committed, I'm telling you right now, I've been in the space for a long, long time. I've only been in the podcast game for a little bit, but I talk to a lot of different people. I understand the pulse of the market. You guys have gold in your hands. This collective is extremely needed, and I can easily see, like, every woman wanting to join this collective, and you guys being the leader on not just on base, honestly, probably every chain. There's nothing like it.
It is actually, we want to do, it's women in crypto, but right now women on base is what we're focusing on. But our narrative is women in crypto overall, hands down. And we have connections already, that we're forming. Miss Shelby, she's a SHIB gal. She, comes from the SHIB blockchain. So
Nice.
we already have that connection there. And we absolutely want to bind all the ties together, because it's not just base alone. It's all
Absolutely.
of crypto. It's that whole entire future of finance, because that's what this is. And the women, as we all know, and I know there's plenty of statistics out there, but we know that behind the scenes, almost always, in any family especially, the women run the books. They're going to be the ones to want to feel safe that we can, as a family, put money into this crypto world you speak of. And, that's our biggest goal of all. And that's really where Shelby's, her information and her views and ideas have come from, that are to your point, Bill. I genuinely believe you when you say that, because we have that dynamic. I believe we are strong enough to go that far. And there are so many women already who have stood up to be in arms with us. We've been very busy back channeling behind the scenes, as you know, Mr. Bill. You've seen me in some of the channels, planning a lot. We've got a lot cooking. I'm not going to say what those things are, because I don't want to, give away too much. But just, know that we have a lot of great things that are coming up that are going to challenge some of the women out there in the space who are up for it, who want to, try to maybe make a little name for themselves with some things that we're going to have coming up, where we're going to ask them to do some things, some artwork we might want created that we're going to showcase. Maybe, a logo that we need. You never know, wink, wink. We might be wanting to run a contest for that in the future, since Women on Base currently doesn't have a logo. And there's just a lot of other really great things. And Shelby, I don't know if there's anything specifically that maybe you want to speak about where your mind has been and some of the narratives you want us to chase, but I feel like there's like so much greatness, and when you speak and when you're able to kind of walk us through that narrative of the whether it's a stay-at-home mom or a mom like yourself who absolutely yes has children, but you just told us you had to teach today. You're running your family businesses behind the scenes doing the books, and we know that you've also been having to help manage because your help left you for those businesses. So like that's baddie. Okay, can we just say homegirl, like that you already are doing all of that plus what you just told us about how you're already helping with your husband's things and the coin itself. And so, I mean, I would love to hear some more from you on kind of where your thoughts are.
Yeah. So I am a very busy person. I love to be busy and I love to like dive into stuff that makes me uncomfortable. Crypto makes me very uncomfortable, which is why I think I love it so much.
Yeah.
And I love to
I
like
would have to agree.
yeah, like I am a teacher. I actually have a preschool class that I was substituting today. So I will be going back to that in the fall. But in the summer, I help run our family business. We are on Cape Cod. We have a seasonal hotel. So, small, office. It's my husband, myself, my brother-in-law, and we do the whole thing. So I run the books. I make the calls. I hire everyone. I train everyone. I mean, everything goes through me, my husband, and my brother-in-law. So when it comes to crypto, we were looking for like something, and we're like, oh, what's like, we do merchant service, we have cash, but we want something else. Like, what's an easier way? And so that's why I really got into crypto because, Zach loves to trade. That's like his thing. He was like a gambler, it's a whole thing. He likes the excitement part of it. But I was like, what is that thing? Like, what's the tangible thing about crypto that makes me excited? And it was like the business aspect of it. And so once I started diving more into it and I was like, got the Coinbase card and I was like, wait, I can go shopping with this. And then I was like, here we go to the outlets. And then I was like, oh, wait, I got to tell my mom about this. So then I was like on the phone with her. And then I was like, all my three sisters, I was like, you got to get this. We're going to buy this token. You're going to get into this one. We're going to open you a wallet. It was so easy to onboard them once they were excited because it pertained to their life.
Yeah.
And, that's what I hope to bring to this space. I kind of live two worlds because I work really hard for 6 months, but then I get 6 months off. So I kind of have like this dual life where I am a really hardworking mom, but then I'm like a stay-at-home mom. So I can kind of see both ways of life. I can kind of relate to both kind of women. And I don't know. It's really hard to explain this kind of thing to them, but I don't know. My biggest thing for my token is I go out, I go to a lot of meetings, I'm on a lot of boards, and I do in-person events. And our token mainly focuses on scholarships. So when I start explaining that to them, they're like, wait, what? Oh, scholarships. You can donate to children and this can be a write-off because you're putting it into a nonprofit. I'm like, yeah. And they're like, okay, sign me up. Where do I do this? That also makes it easier. So I don't know. It's just like putting yourself into their shoes, walking in their life. How can you relate to them? What makes them tick? What can you do? And, how are you going to support them? So that's like my biggest thing too. Like we can get them to open a wallet. We can get them to buy the crypto, but then supporting them afterwards. I don't want to just drop it in their lap and walk away. Being a teacher, want to be there. I want to answer their questions. I want to make sure that they know what they're doing for taxes. I want to make sure that they know what they're doing when it comes to sell anything. So I hope that we can figure that out. I know that, a website or something, I don't know, like, I'm sure that there are so many things that I could go through. But I don't know, that's what's on my mind right now.
I think,
So much
like
that
I
you're
said,
just running circles at this point because I can see the wheels turning in your head right now, Shelby. It's like magic. It's
there's so much
oh,
passion there, and it's just
yes.
contagious, and I love it. All three of you ladies, actually, you can just tell how passionate you are about what you have, and it is literally a gold mine. I mean, everything that you're saying resonates. I'm not a female, but I'm somebody in crypto who took, even just for me as a male, like I got in crypto a long time ago, but there was a huge learning process to learn how do I do anything in crypto, and I learned it on my own. But there has to be a space for women to feel safe and can go and not be judged, and they can learn everything.
Exactly.
And that's what you guys are going to do. And so, I'm just worried, that you guys are going to become too big and never return my calls.
Oh,
Like 4 months down the
Oh
line, maybe for a
no, no, no,
follow-up
no,
interview, you'll be
no.
like, "Hey, I'm too big for late night on base."
Hey, you're the first person to ever interview us, so you
Hey,
always get the phone call,
okay,
okay?
okay, just
right.
promise me before you
And
guys blow
and
up.
one little secret thing that we'll reveal right now is that when we talk about you made a perfect point there, Bill, about being a man and what you've gone through yourself. We will never negate the fact that men are our allies and that this is a man's world, that we are bull in a china shop coming right on through, but we're doing it respectfully. We're going to do it always with that same intent as I spoke about, where there's Mimi land and then there's non Mimi land. And we don't ever want to deter from one or the other or to infuriate one or the other, and certainly not to make one sound less from another, because they're completely different ecosystems operating within that, or not all in one ecosystem, if you will, but they're two totally different narratives, right? Trying to function as one. And one of the things that we want to be very cognitive of with Women on Base is that we have men as allies. And so we will be, as we plan these things out, and Miss Shelby is going to create our webpage, because the thing she didn't tell you is she also knows how to do web design. So
Nice.
she is going to be designing our webpage over time, and we'll get that ready. And that'll be a really great place for us to house a lot of things. But we want to do things like shine the light on those men who are our allies and have a narrative for you too through us, just like you're giving us the narrative through you. It's a two-way street, 50-50. And that's one thing we want
I
to be
love it.
very, very cognitive of.
I
Yeah.
love it, and I think it's wise. And so, I want to touch, and we have a few more minutes. Like honestly, I could literally chat with you guys for hours, but viewers would not be listening to it. I'm not that
Yeah.
interesting. But I do want to say, I do want to ask, okay, what's next for Women on Base? I know Onchain Summit's coming up. Talk to me about the event, and talk to me about what's next on your guys' radar.
Lemire, I'm going to let you take that away, my friend. Yeah, I'm going to let you do all that.
So it's really interesting, Bill, because we kind of not quite tripped into this, but I think, as you've seen, like there's an energy between the three of us. You haven't even met Cindy yet. I don't know. Maybe you have met Cindy.
No, I haven't.
So Cindy Mannett is the fourth founder of Women on Base, and the four of us sort of tripped into this opportunity with Onchain Summit, which is next month in San Francisco at the Howard, San Francisco. It's the 16th through the 18th, and we were just kind of kicking around some ideas, and it sort of evolved into this amazing opportunity to really introduce the different women on base, with our projects at a panel discussion. We're basically going to be kicking off this incredible day of programming that Saturday at Onchain Summit. So, and we've sort of taken on this challenge of, we're going to set the tone for this day. That's going to be capped off with, really big speakers for the rest of the day, and then a sort of keynote at the end. I think you can go onto the site to see who's going to be doing all of that. But it's going to give us an opportunity to, for the very first time, kind of materialize this beacon that we're hoping to shine out into the world of crypto, to say, you know what, we aren't the first. Like we aren't the first by a long shot. And there are plenty of women that have been in the space a lot longer than us, for much longer. But what we want to do is be sort of the central point to which all of these existing women that are doing great things out in the space to come together so that we aren't living in silos anymore, that we get to meet each other and talk about our lived experiences as women in crypto, and then start talking about all of the amazing projects like the Coyote token or Bitcoin on Base or Boomer on Base, what we as women, as part of these core teams, are doing for these projects, and then learn from other women that are out there who have been doing it for a long time, but maybe have been doing it in their own little silo. We really want to break down these silos, because
exactly
the
right.
more that we can connect, and Michelle or Shills is like mistress of connections. She's amazing. So the more that we can make these connections amongst all of these women, new and established, we're going to kill this space. And again, we're going to create this tide of energy and investment and inflow and information so that we can all educate each other on not just how this works, but what this person over here has done in the last 3 years that's worked or not worked. And then start having these conversations so that a year from now, it doesn't come off like, oh, it's 2025. We're still talking about this. We're still talking about, we're having to lurk. Women are still lurking in 2025. It's crazy. It's crazy. But the one thing I did hear something that I really love, this opportunity that we have, I think, in for the Onchain Summit is sort of an answer to this. It's not a question. Someone just said to me, closed mouths don't get fed. Closed mouths don't get fed. So I think this opportunity at Onchain Summit is going to be an opportunity for people to open their mouths, women to open their mouths, people to come in who support women to open their mouths in support of these women, so that we can get these stories out, these learnings out, and really start this groundswell of energy and push this forward. So we've got the panel discussion on Saturday. We're working on a couple of other programming things, a workshop. We're looking to, I think, work with you maybe to talk about a future podcast or spaces that we're also looking to have regularly, so that we have these conversations on a regular basis, and it's not going to be just one and done. So looking very much forward to that next month.
I would love to learn more about that and help you guys in any single way. I'm excited for Onchain Summit. I can't wait for your guys' panel discussion. I'll be there. I'll be actually doing, I'll be filming, I'll doing content over there. So I'll be interviewing a lot of people. So whoever on your team is there, I would love to, connect in real life, and got some special guests for that podcast coming up, which I'm excited about. And it'll be great to just hang out. But ladies, thank you so much for coming on Late Night on Base. It's truly an honor to see the start of something ridiculously big. And I feel very fortunate to be in the room with you three, because you guys are going to explode, and what you're doing is super important. So thank you again. And my last question before we end, simple question. If there is any woman watching this or listening to this who wants to learn more and get involved with what you guys are doing, what should they do?
Reach out. I think right now we're still building our page, our Twitter,
our brand, our everything. We're only 2.5 weeks old, to be completely fair. It's growing very fast.
You should set up a Telegram page.
Kind of just
you guys have a Telegram? You guys should definitely set up a Telegram. There's going to be a lot of people after they hear this. They're going to be hitting you guys up. Michelle,
we have a Discord that I've set up. It's just not live yet, but I have been building it. So we actually collectively agreed we don't want to be in Telegram. We are going to be in Discord. And we do already have our Twitter page. So right now, to that very question, have them follow the Women on Base Twitter account, hands down. And then I believe from there is where we can give them the quicker information when we're ready to start releasing that. But Shelby, I believe do you even maybe possibly have, is it the SHIB Women's Discord that has educational information that folks can join?
Yeah, absolutely. SHIB Women Discord, you can join that. Crypto Queen is the one to reach out to. She runs it. And I think that's pretty much it right now that's live. I'm sorry, I was going to say something else, but I don't think it's live yet, so I'm going to.
So what we'll do, just to simplify things, if you're watching this on Spotify and you want to learn more, head to the YouTube page. In the description, we will put the Woman on Base's Twitter account, the X account.
Perfect.
From there, get in touch with them. They are amazing people. Not just saying that because you're on my show. All three of you are wonderful people. And then from there, you guys can connect. And I'm happy to see, this evolve. And of course, if you're on YouTube, everyone, please subscribe to our page, Late Night on Base, and follow us on X. That's the only way we can produce some cool shows like this. So, ladies, thank you so much for your time. And can't wait to see you guys in San Francisco.
See you next
Same
month.
to you, Bill. Thank you
Thank
so
you.
much. We
Thanks.
appreciate it.